Am I coming through? All right, I think I am. Greetings. Welcome back to Blackbird News. Please remember to like the video and to make sure you're still subscribed. Very important. Hello, welcome. Human is texting me or commenting in many languages. I believe you're saying hello. Buenas tardes, Senor Kevin. Good afternoon. Guten Abend, Sir Kevin. German, we have Japanese. Die Thronina. I don't know what that is at all. Don't know. Good evenings. I know what that is. Buonasera, signore. Kevin, is that Portuguese? Buonasera. The dude says, hi. How you doing, Wade? Jay Ackert. Jay Ackert begins the commenting. Actually, Gene Martin says, bonsoir, monsieur. Kevin, I know what that is. Pardon my French. Jay Ackert says, might need to change it from downward spiral to downward exponential. Might need to. So, yeah, I mean, just to pick up kind of from where we were yesterday, or in the last couple of days, it seems like every day now seems to bring new and frightening wrinkles to the coronavirus situation and what that means for the economy. Of course, what that means for people's health, and what that also means for the near-term situation regarding climate change and how much this may affect rapid global heating, which is a real thing. That's why I'm so curious. Of course, we won't know. We do get immediate kind of temperature readings, but we won't know on average like what this coronavirus situation has done to the global temperature. Probably won't know at least for another month or two. I don't know. I'm not really sure how long it might take. George, how you doing? Rudel Zavedno. Zoxalix. Greetings all. Boiled rope lamppost says shelter in place. Indeed. So yeah, let's just so the signs that the United States and certainly organizations in the Western Hemisphere are taking this seriously are beginning to, they're beginning to show up. On one hand, very good that they're taking this seriously. On the other hand, this obviously means more economic cratering. Noel Wilson says, what about the old global dimming thing? Yes, indeed. What about it? Natural Progressive, hello. Karen Daly, hello. So South by Southwest, this is huge. This is fairly huge. When I saw this, I was like, wow, this is an incredible response. So if you remember, was it yesterday or the day before? I can't remember. I was telling you that I had overheard that a major talent agency in the global talent agency had grounded all of its talent and all of its employees. Basically, there was a no-fly order from the company. They would not allow their talent to fly. So I wonder if that has something to do with this. It probably does. South by Southwest Festival, which is a huge music and arts festival, music and film festival in Austin, Texas, has canceled over coronavirus concerns, leaving organizers devastated. This is gigantic because that festival is huge. It goes on for a week or 2 weeks, I believe. A week between the 13th and the 22nd. It's a week-long festival in Austin. It brings thousands of people from all over the world. It is a serious event, and that the canceling is going to impact the economy there like incredibly. And not to mention all the people that work, for the festival, setting up the festival, lining up the talent, all the industry folks involved. I mean, this is not to mention all the air travel that's now canceled going into this festival. Pretty, this is a pretty alarming sign that, that things are, spinning, spinning towards the not good area, the not good part of the spectrum. Excuse me. South by Southwest. So hold on, let me go back. The festival has been canceled due to the continuing spread of the coronavirus. City and county officials in Austin, Texas announced Friday. South by Southwest organizers say they are devastated by the news, noting that it's the first time in 34 years that the event won't happen. Let me make sure that I still got you. Okay, I do. The festival, which encompasses film, music, interactive media, and television, is to be held between March 13th and the 22nd. So this is the first time in 34 years it's been canceled. But it is such a gigantic kind of industry, event. It's probably one of the largest industry events, on the planet. Yeah, Austin Mayor Steve Adler said at a news conference that he had declared a local disaster, and together with that had issued an order that effectively cancels South by Southwest this year. So that coming on the heels of California issuing a state of emergency around the coronavirus. South by Southwest will faithfully follow the city's directions. We are devastated to share this news with you. We are now working through the ramifications of this unprecedented situation. Yeah, this is wild. And for a lot, also, this is, for musicians in the area, this is a pretty big event. It's going to cancel a lot of shows. So it annually brings in $350 million in revenue. The economic impact is big. It's going to hurt. Fortunately, Austin's economy doesn't rise and fall in one event, but it's a pretty huge event. I mean, this is pretty gigantic. It's not like canceling the Super Bowl or something, but it's it's fairly close. It's pretty big. So moving on to, what has been happening with the airline industry. So this is out of the Huffington Post from a few days ago. Flybe collapses into administration as coronavirus made difficult situation worse. So this is an airline. The airline narrowly avoided going bust in January, but has continued to lose money. Struggling airline Flybe has said coronavirus made a difficult situation worse after it went bust in the early hours of Thursday. The carrier was saved from going out of business earlier this year, but has been unable to obtain a £100 million loan from the government. This is a British airline. A drop in demand caused by coronavirus has added to Flybe's long-standing woes. Administrators announced it had ceased trading with immediate effect. Crisis talks were held throughout the day on Wednesday to try to secure a rescue package, but no deal was agreed. I mean, it is effectively done. The end of the Exeter-based airline, which employs 2,000 staff, will threaten thousands of jobs in the future of a number of regional airlines, or airports, excuse me. So, yeah, this is a smaller airline, but look for larger airline. I heard that Southwest, which is a major airline, is Southwest, which is a major airline. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. That was a major malfunction. So the downward my stream went into a downward spiral on that one. Sorry about that. Anyways, come on back. Apologize. I don't even know where I was. That was such a big break. I don't know what I was talking about. I think I was talking about airlines. Yeah, Southwest Airline is a huge carrier, and they are having financial difficulties due to coronavirus. Yeah, I'm back. Come on back. Sorry, we had like 77 people on the stream, and I apologize. Rajoba, hello to Germany. Yeah, so what happened was I forgot before I started the stream to switch to my better Wi-Fi connection, and so as I was talking, I was seeing that it was about to kick me off, and I tried to switch to the other connection, and it just kicked me off completely. Anyways, close out, then reopen. Exactly, Richard Monroe. Thank you. So yeah, this is having a major. So the coronavirus is having a major economic effect. It is, obviously affecting markets, and Trump is sweating bullets right now. Although, I think that, I know that Trump is worried about the economy tanking right now. However, I don't think the general public would, everyone knows the economy is tanking because of the coronavirus and not because of any underlying problems. So, on some levels, I think Trump would get a pass. Like if the economy started really tanking, this is actually a great excuse for why the economy is tanking and not necessarily, for real reasons why it should tank. So if the economy actually did kind of start going under, I think that Trump would have a very good excuse saying like, hey, this coronavirus just came in and wiped everything out. What could I do? His response to the coronavirus hasn't been very good on a health level, on a, public service level, not on any level, but economically, they are really trying to staunch the bleeding. James Michael Campbell, Trump is criminally insane. Well, yeah, but they are, he also happens to be president. I actually could think of a few other presidents who have been criminally insane. Anyways, to anybody coming back in, I really apologize for that bust up on the last live stream. Hopefully everybody can come back in on this. Trump train will fall, and there's the other thing about this is that, truth and facts and actual reality don't seem to matter much in the love for Trump. His base is pretty rabid. They're pretty loyal, and they're not. They're probably. It would take a lot, I think, for them to abandon him. And I don't think coronavirus taking out the economy is going to be. Nobody's going to be like, well, that's all Trump's fault. I don't see anybody, because actually, logically, obviously the economy was already in a rocky place. We already know that, the underlying realities of what is going on. It's been in a rocky place for many years, and Trump has been, kind of pumping up the economy on, kind of false hopes and the stock market has been carrying everything. The real economy is doing much worse than the stock market says, because the stock market is not necessarily tied to like the real economy anymore. However, if the coronavirus ends up being the thing that knocks the economy out, I don't think that, I don't think logically anybody could go, that's Trump's fault. I don't see it. Natural Progressive says Trump is a huge virus. Most of my family is infected. Yeah. Yes. Yes. I understand. Trump is a huge virus, followed, closely behind by the Biden virus, because the people that believe in Joe Biden seem to have the same lack of, faculties of, being tethered to reality about why he's, presidential on any level or electable. I don't get it, but whatever. I don't get it. Anyways, back to the economic woes. So there's already been a Fed rate cut of 0.5%. And so, if anybody's been following this, the lending rate was at like zero. The quantitative easing of the whole Obama administration kind of left the economy in a place where it had nowhere else to go, because it was already the lending rate was already at zero, or very close to zero. And they were like, there was actually talk that the lending rate might go into the negatives, which it had in Europe in some places. So, when Trump came into office, they started raising the rate, which is actually a good thing, because, you don't want the rate to be at zero for eight years or 10 years or 12 years, because there's nowhere else for it to go. So they raised the rate, and now they've been raising the rate a little by little over the last like 4 years, and now they had to cut it by 0.5%. I think they did that like a week ago. And now they're talking about cutting it again by 0.75%. So this article is from CNBC. The market now sees the Fed cutting by 75 basis points in March. The central bank earlier this week announced a 50 basis point cut, and is expected to do more when it meets March 17th and 18th. Right now, I think the Fed rate is at, where is it at? It's below 0.7%. The yield on a 10-year treasury. So I don't know where they're going to go. So if the market is correct, the cut in the federal funds rate would take borrowing cost in short-term markets down to the range of 0.25 to 0.5%. So back down to 0.5% or lower. This is really, this is really big news. This actually is indicative of the fact that the economy is in a terrible state. If they just slashed the rates, and they're going to go back down 0.75 next week, this is bad news. And this Osama, thank you. Hello. Natural Progressive says, pretty sure that is not going to help much in this scenario. Yeah. So, we're seeing large events get canceled. We're seeing airlines going out of business. We're seeing the Fed rate getting cut. We're seeing stocks continuing to decline. The next couple months are really going to, give us a good indicator of how terrible this is going to end up being. On top of the fact that the coronavirus is, romping its way into other countries. I was just listening to a Chris Martenson video, Crisis Within a Crisis. It's a good video. This is not his latest, but this is from yesterday, I think. I think he released a video today. 2 days ago, March 5th. Anyways, I'm going to link this in this video as well. And if you haven't been, most people have been keeping up with Chris Martenson. I think it's, he's really doing good work, explaining the situation around the coronavirus. Um, Gene says, someone 3 kilometers from my farm has the C19 virus. I'm not surprised or worried. However, a lot of people are freaking out. I mean, it's coming, and especially it's coming to countries where it hasn't hit yet. I imagine in the U.S. it's going to, the signs show that it's gonna, it's getting out there, and I think Chris Martenson explained that it had, in some cases there was a 14-day incubation period, so you could actually contract the virus and not show any symptoms. For that's a long time, 2 weeks. Not only that, they're saying that there was asymptomatic spread of the disease, meaning you can catch the virus from someone else who is not showing symptoms of the virus. So somebody could actually look, totally fine, perfectly healthy. They could have the virus. You could get it from them. So that's fairly frightening. Natural Progressive says, first case here, right where we have a big meeting coming up. Gene says Costa Rica's main income is from tourism, and tourism is already dropping. Well, yeah. No bullshit here says spraying the shit out of today. Air quality is shit. Where are you at? No bullshit. Where do you reside? Yeah, guys. I mean, it's this. I'm starting to feel. This is kind of reaching the point where things might start. The business as usual model of living might start to come to an end, right? You have these large festivals canceling. You have cruise ships being quarantined. In China, it's absolutely not business as usual. So business as usual in China and in certain other countries, South Korea, I believe, business as usual has come to an end. And what does that mean for the future of the world economy, of the global economy? What does this summer look like if all of this lack of industrial activity, lack of air travel, lack of sulfates, or lack of particles in the air? No bullshit here says mass hole. I don't know where that is actually. Are you talking about Massachusetts, or is mass hole really a place? Got it. They call it mass hole. That's funny. Or you call it mass hole. I don't know. What does this mean for the 2020 elections? How bad is this going to get? If China is shut down, I actually heard another something else today. Maybe it was from Chris Martenson that their airline travel is down by like 80% or something crazy. So all of that lack of activity, industrial activity, lack of emissions, or drastic, immediate lowering of emissions, for those that are in the know, and there's not many, if you understand the aerosol masking effect or understand global dimming, this could just be another layer of, interesting times, I guess. Hey, Poppy Davis, how you doing? All right, you guys are coming back in. Apologize for the mishap on the first video. It's been a little slower to get people back in on this one, but that's fine. I guess we're going to have 2 videos today. Osama, what's up, man? Yeah, so that's pretty much what I wanted to cover, except for last couple articles. Oh, this is actually, I'm totally wrong. This is actually what I wanted to talk about. My original main thrust of this video was that Medicare, we don't have universal health care in the U.S. And this is a major problem in people taking preventative steps to get themselves tested for the virus and to get themselves, well, if they have the virus, or take themselves to the hospital if they have the virus. If this isn't an outright airtight argument for universal health care and Medicare for all, I don't know what is. And if you're not, if you're voting for anybody but Bernie Sanders, I don't know where your fucking head is at, because, Trump isn't going to give you Medicare for all. Joe Biden is not going to give you Medicare for all. This is just craziness. I mean, we need immediate free healthcare right now. So even if Bernie Sanders does get elected, it's going to be a long time before we actually get it implemented. And in the interim, before we even have an election, coronavirus could wipe out a lot of the global economy, as well as exacerbate climate change, exacerbate global heating in an immediate, So there you go. Echoes or not, what's up? Hello, how you doing, everybody? And welcome back, everybody. I know, sorry, the first one got jacked on the first go round, but I'm not going to be here for very much longer. I've got things to do. So yeah, there was a new article from Jacobin today saying that Trump beats Biden, and anybody who has two brain cells to rub together can understand that Trump is going to just beat Biden like a stepchild. The Democratic Party establishment has united behind the candidate who has failed at running for president for 32 years. Defender of banks and drug companies, Joe Biden is the swamp creature of Donald Trump's dreams. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but there's a great article telling you why. This is just a litany of the reason why Joe Biden is one of the worst candidates for president. He's got to be one of the worst candidates for president we've ever seen. I thought that Hillary Clinton was probably, up there as far as worst, Democratic, presidential candidates that have ever been put forward. But Joe Biden might actually be worse. In weeks or months, Democratic voters will have buyer's remorse that the bumbling, incoherent, and scandal-ridden Biden is their presumptive nominee. Donald Trump will lacerate Biden with 1,000 cuts and insults from the left and right. Sleepy Joe will be mocked ruthlessly for not being able to identify his sister from his wife. What office is he running for? What his website is. And literally the only thing that, the thing that Biden has going for him is that he was vice president under Obama, and he will walk into black churches and just lie about how he was part of the civil rights movement. And apparently people believe him. If he's the nominee, he will count on Bloomberg's dollars to put him over the top. That is dicey now, as the CEO of Stop and Frisk just came up empty in the primary after spending $500 million. I just read that Bloomberg opened a bunch of field offices, though, in swing states to help whoever the nominee is. Especially if that's Joe Biden. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Michael Lee says, fuck Dane Wigington. Well, look, I'm not a huge fan of Dane Wigington, but I have to say that, the extremist positions on chemtrails, I think, are not helpful for a discussion about what's really going on. I'm not a fan of Dane Wigington because I agree, because he makes everything about chemtrails. I think what he does is, kind of get people on this whole, it's chemtrails, man, it's not climate change, and I have a disagreement with him on that. However, I really do feel like they're doing something. What I think they're doing is they're already doing SRM. They have to be doing SRM already. They have to be. We've known about climate change for decades. The Department of Defense has known about climate change for decades. They've done countless reports and studies on climate change. They totally understand it, and they've never done anything. They've never done any testing on SRM or anything. They've never countered it. They've never tried anything. If you tell me that, I'll tell you that you're out to lunch. Hunter Z, can Bernie choose his own vice? So I read that the convention can actually choose your vice president for you. However, a lot of people are saying that Bernie should choose a vice president now. I actually think that he should. I think that if he gets, because here's what's going to happen. Biden is going to pick like Stacey Abrams or even Michelle Obama for vice president, and then it's game over. It's just game over. Everybody will be like, "Oh, that's so great. Oh, that's so wonderful, Joe Biden." And that's going to be the end of the story. That's going to be the end of Bernie. So if Bernie chooses a vice president now, before Joe Biden does some shit like that, he will jump. He'll jump in front of him, right? He'll have to pick somebody good. But if he picks a vice president, and people are like, okay, that's cool, that's solid, whoever it is he picks, and then Joe Biden comes out and goes, well, I've got so and so as my vice president. It looks a little weaker on his part. People will be like, oh, really? We're choosing vice presidents? Everybody's choosing vice presidents now? Natural Progressive says choose Tulsi. Yeah, so I'm seeing that a lot. People are in favor of chemtrails. Osama, yes, sir. Chemtrails. Michael Lee. Yeah, no. So just to go back real quick. David Keith and Ken Caldera at Harvard keep on talking about, well, we're going to do some SRM tests pretty soon, or we've done limited field studies. That's absolute bullshit, man. Absolutely bullshit. If you don't believe the Army, the Air Force, or the DOD, or somebody hasn't already done extensive SRM testing, you're naive as fuck. If you don't think they've already tested this extensively, look, man, they've shot nuclear warheads into the stratosphere. They've exploded nuclear warheads in space just to see what would happen. That happened 50 years ago. More than 50 years ago. They've already done, they've done all these crazy tests and, sprayed barium, strontium, whatever. This is factual. They've done this. If you don't think they've already done SRM testing, extensive SRM testing, you're full of shit. But, I digress. I'm just not a big, it's chemtrails, man. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not a big person on that. Tulsi or Nina, I agree. Natural Progressive, thank you for bringing it back to what we were talking about. There are some people that think that he should pick the most radical candidate as a way to kind of say, look, we're firmly against the establishment. I actually can agree with that. I mean, but think about it. If he picked Tulsi, I mean, it would just be, you have to know that it would be a head explosion. Head explosion. The entire media apparatus would lose their minds. Just lose their minds. Michael Lee, Tulsi, yes. On this we agree, Michael. Yes, Tulsi is amazing. I also think Nina would be a strong choice. Nina is an incredible speaker. She's done so much work for Bernie Sanders already. She has, she's a state senator. She's got political experience. So does Tulsi. I don't know. It's a tough choice, honestly. I really like both of them. I mean, I think if you're really going to try and pick the outside move, Tulsi is the one. Michael Lee says, it is paranoia and BS I hate. I remember what happened when HIV first came out. My community was horribly marginalized and lied about. And I understand that. I get that. Yeah. I firmly am in the camp that, all conspiracy theories aren't true, but they're not all false either. But, so it's the extreme view that all conspiracy theories are false, I think is hurtful. It's not helpful to people because some things are actually happening that need to be addressed, but if you just blindly believe all conspiracy theories, that can be very harmful because it just, both sides turn people's brains off. You stop thinking. If you're like, conspiracy theories are all bullshit, you turn your brain off. And if you believe all conspiracy theories, you've turned your brain off. You got to pick and you got to, you got to figure out what's really going on. You got to keep thinking about this. Osama says Operation Starfish Prime. Yep. 57 years ago. Yep. Alaric Harrison says the government code word for SRM is atmospheric testing. You can ask any NASA or NOAA scientist and they will deny SRM and chemtrails. But if you ask about atmospheric testing, they will say yes. Exactly. I mean, my firm belief is that they're already doing SRM. And it's not, I'm not talking about chemtrails. I'm talking about contrails. Like what they're doing radiation management. So if you put up a contrail and it spreads out and becomes a cloud, it cools the planet. That's called radiation management. It's very simple. You just go up, you create a contrail, it's a cloud, the cloud blocks the sun, radiation management. That's all it is. Alaric Harrison says, insiders say Biden's team asked Warren and Warren said no thank you. Good for her. I mean, she may redeem herself yet. She may back Bernie. She may, because she's already come out against Biden. She's already said something very negative about Biden. She said that Biden wasn't going to fix the problems of the country. So that's hopeful. That's good. That means she's not going to back Biden, right? Steve Moyer says, Bernie has the mic. Let him take down our dysfunctional economic system. That will be a true win for everyone. I agree. Indeed. Tiffany Larkin says, Nina. Yeah, I love Nina. I absolutely love Nina. Nina is on fire. And she is fire. She just, I can imagine her in a debate. Ooh. Nina in a debate would just be ow, ooh, just be rock'em sock'em. She would just be killing him. I don't mind. I think Nina is a great pick. I think she's a very strong pick. I think Tulsi is a strong pick too. I'm just a little afraid about they have just brutalized Tulsi in the media. So if he picked Tulsi, it would just be like Bernie and Tulsi are the Russian front coming to invade America. Like they would just go absolutely ape shit on fucking Russia. Putin is backing this ticket. Here's Putin's favorites. Here they are. They would just lose their minds. It's why I almost think Nina is a better pick because Nina's like kind of on the cusp of like, we know who she is? We don't know who she is. She's a black woman, of course, and so that helps incredibly. I don't know. I don't know. It's a toss up. It's a toss up. I think either one is very good. The dude, there's a super virus on the loose that all evidence points to being worse than Spanish flu, excuse me, and the government is knowingly allowing it to spread in order to preserve in vain the economy. Yeah, fairly, it's already taking out the economy. That's the problem. I mean, the economy's already fucking toast. The dude says, I will support a candidate who addresses the reality in a meaningful way and calls out the inaction by POTUS et al. In an attempt to spur them to appropriate action. I haven't heard a single word yet. You've got Bernie saying Medicare for all, and I'm sure that Bernie is, squarely behind doing everything possible to fight this. You know that Biden's not going to do what's necessary. Deborah Saylor, Tulsi, Secretary of State. All right, no bullshit here. Have a good one. Michael Lee says Biden won't win. What a loser party. The GOP, DNC. I mean, if you look at a list of Biden's platforms or policies or things that he has supported in his tenure, it's all pretty Republican leaning. I mean, he was against school busing. He was even against Roe versus Wade. Yeah, he's supported crime bills and mass incarceration and cutting Social Security, and he helped Clarence Thomas get his Supreme Court position. He went after Anita Hill. He's a terrible person. He's a terrible politician. He's a terrible person. Echoes of not, that is why they're not testing for the markets. Well, of course. Trev B5 says, does Dem nominee get to pick head of DNC? Well, the thing is if Bernie Sanders wins the nomination, yes, he would have so much power within the party. The party would become, something of his making. The way the party is now something of, Obama / Clinton world. The dude sums it all up by, yeah, Biden sucks. All right, guys, I've got to sign off. Thank you so much for joining in and for listening to me rant yet another day. So there's going to be 2 videos up today. There's going to be this entire video spliced into 2. But thanks for joining in. Thanks for being here, guys. I will see you on the next one. Peace.